Om Shri Sai Ram. A very hearty Sai Ram to all dear children. Hope you are all doing fine. So in the first chapter of our history, we learnt about the advent of Europeans to India, how the Europeans came to India, what was their purpose, and the other things we have already discussed in chapter number 1, the advent of Europeans to India. Now, and later on you know that Battle of Buxar, Battle of Plassey and other things. And finally, the British were able to establish the supremacy in India. After establishing their supremacy, now we'll come to the next chapter, that is the impact of British rule in India, how the British had their impact all over India. So now, so you know that the British East India Company was established with the purpose of commercial purpose, trade purpose, doing the trade with these Southeast Asian countries in Asia. So the British East India Company fulfilled its commercial needs in the beginning as a trade company. In the beginning they were only for trade purpose, business. So later on observing the fractured political landscape of India, wherein hundreds of ruling dynasties were competing with each other, the British thought of exploiting the situation to further their political consolidation. So British observed so that in India there were many kingdoms, rulers were there, and so each was fearing other, they were insecure of each other, and the British tried to exploit the situation for their advantage. It is like fishing in the troubled waters. So they sowed suspicion in each other, already that was there, and these people again put some ghee into that so that it will flare up. So you can see here in the India in the year 1790, so here I can see Marathas were ruling a portion here, Rajputs, Rajasthan, Mughal Empire was confined here in this area, particular Awadh and things. Then Mysore was by the Mysore Wadayars. Then the Hyderabad region, Nizams, Muslim states were there. And you can see here the red were British areas which are ruled by the British. You can see here also Marathas, Rajputs, Mughals, Hyderabad, Nizams, and British were confined to Calcutta, and here you can see Chennai, that is the Coromandel region. So this was the situation. Now the British started to use this policy called divide and rule policy. So because if they want to gain control, if these Indian rulers come together, it will be difficult for them to manage the country. So sowing the seeds of suspicion, rivalry among the Indian rulers, they started to do this policy called divide and rule among the Indian rulers, and slowly dominated all the rulers and subjugated them, means defeated them and brought under their control. In order to achieve complete domination, domination means control, in India they employed war and negotiation methods cleverly. Example, they brought in what you call as the subsidiary alliance. They told, see your dear king, so the neighboring king may attack you anytime, so we will be there for your protection. So a small portion of our army will be in your kingdom, so that the enemy king will not come and attack you. Same thing they would go and tell the other king, so this particular king may attack you anytime, so we will keep you, we will keep a portion of our army in your kingdom. So it was a free maintenance for the British. Maintenance was free, and also they were able to control the rulers in their particular kingdom. Negotiations, very cleverly they negotiated. See here, if you do come with us, we will give you these offers. You know that in the previous advent of Europeans in India, how the British brought in Mir Jafar, Mir Qasim, and among them how they brought rivalry and brought control. So in this way, divide and rule policy, through different measures they brought. Now this next we come to the concept of one nation concept and administratively. India, though culturally from Jammu Kashmir to Kanyakumari, from Gujarat to Arunachal, though we are having the same culture, same historic, our epics, Ramayana, Mahabharata, though we are following, but political unity was not there, administrative unity was not there, because you know that many princely states were there, different things were there, and there was no administrative unit as one as India or political unit. So after getting India under the control by employing various clever methods, the British thought of strengthening their hold over India permanently. Now they thought these things will work out for a short time, but if we have to have control over India, then we should have a stable administrative system. Then India was divided of one nation concept. We did not have this concept of one nation. Every small principalities were there. Small Mysore kingdom, Hyderabad Nizams, and in this way all were their own principalities. Concept of India as a whole was not there. So as we told, it was scattered into various kingdoms. The British integrated the whole of India under one administrative and political structure. So now their administrative setup, they brought this whole India under a one political administrative structure. How did they bring this? Uniformity in administration, because earlier, so from one region the rules were different, because as I told you, different rulers were there. They were having their own rules and regulations. It may be measures or currency. Different kingdoms had their own. Education was different. Judiciary, everybody had their own rules and regulation. Land tax collection, already you know that Rayotwari, Mahalwari, Zamindari, different types were there. Trade and agriculture and other various activities were regulated under various laws and administrative system. So all these were scattered in different rulers were following their own. The British brought all these areas. Example, education brought a uniform policy. Judiciary, that is the courts, law and order. Land taxes, land collection, trade, business, agriculture and other areas were now regulated, controlled by the British by bringing different rules and regulation. This brought in a new structure to India. While implementing all these measures, they never forgot to protect their financial interest. So they were not for improving an Indians. All these measures were done so that efficiently they can have their profits. So this was the main purpose. So they never forgot their financial interest. Their main purpose was business, trade, profit. That was their first priority. For that, all these administrative measures were brought in. The British East India Company implemented various administrative experiments in order to achieve a new order in India. So let us discuss one by one now. So you can, so this is the emblem of British East India Company. So this is their office in England. And trade company, main purpose is business, profit. Now, administrative and judicial system. How the British brought in judicial and administrative system. Civil services, today what you call as Indian Administrative Service, Karnataka Administrative Service. That time it was called as ICS, Indian Civil Service. Civil service means internal law and order, maintenance of and all things were under the civil administration. So Lord Cornwallis introduced the administration of civil service. He was the person who thought of as we should have officers who can manage all these areas. The system of appointing employees for the purpose of trade was done by the East India Company from the beginning. So here employees who were there in that company who will go to India, they were all appointed by the East India Company. From the beginning. The company also provided permission for private workers to trade. So not only employees of the company, but other people, private, who are not a part of the company, were also given a chance to do business in India. So now this was going on. By using these opportunities, employers made money, became corrupt through illegal means. Now they got a chance because nobody to control. So they were laissez-faire, do whatever you want. In this way, they started to amass a lot of wealth, and it was now a little bit concern for the British East India Company because a lot of businessmen, private people were making money. So to control this, in the year 1773, the government of England implemented Regulating Act in India. Regulating means control. Regulator, you know, regulator. Regulating means control. The aim of Regulating Act was, as the name suggests, to enforce control. Otherwise, if it goes out of control, the traders will make profit. So illegal means so throwing away all the rules and regulation, and it was a loss to the company. So in the year 1773, this system of Regulating Act was brought into force. 1800, in the year 1800, now we are in the year 2020. So 1800, Lord Cornwallis opened Fort William College in Calcutta. Today it is called as Kolkata. Fort William College. Why it was opened? It was for the benefit of people aspiring to join civil service. Today what you call as IAS exam, it was called as civil service, ICS. But this initiation did not find support from the directors of East India Company, because till the time it was under the control of 1857, after the first war of Indian independence, it came under the Queen. Till that time it was the control of the East India Company. So the directors were not much supportive, because they thought if it comes under the Queen, then our profits will go. So they were not much supportive for Lord Cornwallis' plan of establishing this college and civil service. It went on. As a result, all the appointments till 1853 were done by the directors. So all the directors of the company, means who are there in the company, who are the main in charge, directors they are called as. So they were appointing all these people who will go to India and do the work. Lord Cornwallis, this is Lord Cornwallis. This is Fort William College at Calcutta, today called as Kolkata. So this was done to train civil servants, so for the administrative officers. Civil service. From 1853 onwards, the appointment of civil service were done through competitive examinations. Till that time, directors would appoint whomever they want, so they would appoint them. So it was all the control of the directors. Now, a competitive examination. So where anybody wants to join the civil service, they have to write the competitive examinations. In that competitive examinations, if they pass, then they will be having different tests, then training will be given, and they will be put in different areas. This did not benefit Indians much. So as I told you, the British, their aim was, main was profit, and to manage that profit, all these arrangements were done, and in no way it was useful to Indians. The British continued to suspect the efficiency of the Indians. So they were not much having faith in Indian people, because they had the superiority complex, that they are superior and the Indians are inferior. So this can be understood by the this statement of Lord Cornwallis, who told that all the natives means Indians who are there of Hindustan are completely corrupt. So according to Cornwallis, all the Indians are corrupt, inefficient, they are good for nothing. This is the mentality. And who are capable? Only the British are capable. As a result, only lower grade jobs were given to Indians. So all the high posts were handled by the British officers, and the lower grades which were there, like clerical, peons, all these lower grade, they were given to Indians, just to please them. So now the judicial system, coming to this courts. How was the judicial system, or suppose there was a problem in the village, who would decide in the earlier system? A new judicial system started finding roots when the British ruling began taking over from the Mughal rule. So till that time, Mughals were dominating a major part of India, and they had their own system of judicial system, giving the justice. After the battle of Buxar, already we discussed in chapter number 1, the Mughal Emperor Shah Alam handed over Diwani rights. That is Diwani, the right to collect land revenue or taxes. So they gave it to the British. So Diwani rights means right of collecting the tax. But maintenance of law and order, justice, administration was in the hands of the Indian rulers. So this system is called as a dual system of government or diarchy, where the revenue collection, financial, will be in the hands of the British, whereas the administration, justice, law and order will be in the hands of the Indian rulers. See the cleverness of the British. All the maintenance, all the money they were taking, but the maintenance and the salary, everything the rulers had to give. This was the condition. So that is called as the dual governance or dual administration. So Diwani rights, that is the right of collecting land revenue. Now centralized judicial system. Under this, the authority to collect land taxes, civil and judiciary were given to the Indian officials, whereas the British retained the authority of managing the revenue collected. So all the land tax, civil and judiciary were given to the Indian officials. You have to manage it. But finally, all the top control was in the hands of the British. Later on, the British thought of bringing more centralized judicial system in India. They thought in different areas, different rules are there. For the same mistake in the different areas, there are different punishments and things. So we should bring a uniformity, and a central system is required. So a centralized judicial system was now set up. What did they do? With the implementation of this system, the British overtook the authority of the Mughal and established their supremacy in India. Till that time, before the British came, the Mughals were having control in major parts of India. Now, after the British came, they took over. This was attained by implementing new judicial system in India. What is this now? Diwani Adalat and Fauzdari Adalat. So, according to the administrative plan devised by Warren Hastings, who took over administration as governor in 1772, two types of courts were needed to be established in each district. So, it was divided into different districts, the whole country. So, one was called as the Diwani Adalat as a civil court, and another was called as the Fauzdari Adalat as a criminal court. Civil court means regarding land or marriage and these things. Criminal court, regarding criminal murder, theft and other things that are called as a criminal court. Like that regarding the land or any petty matters, it's called civil court. Regarding this murder or criminal activity, is court called criminal court. It was called as Fauzdari, criminal court. Diwani Adalat means a civil court to decide civil issues. In these courts, what was happening there? Hindus were dispensed justice as per the Hindu scriptures and Muslims as per the Shariat. So Hindus had the Manu Dharma Shastra or Bhagavad Gita. So based on that, okay, for this particular crime, this is the punishment. For this particular crime, this punishment. So for Hindus, if they do taking the Bhagavad Gita or Manu Dharma Shastra, they would tell, okay, this punishment should be given. If a Muslim commits a mistake, he will be his punishment will be based on Shariat. Shariat means the Muslims Islamic law. Based on that, okay, for this particular mistake. So you can see that there was no uniformity. For Muslims one rule, for Hindus another rule. Slowly, the British legal procedures were introduced in the criminal courts. They did not try to interfere in the civil matters. Criminal courts, okay, if a punishment, whether a Muslim, Hindu or whoever does for the crime, same punishment. Now they started to introduce this uniformity or a procedure in the criminal courts. Civil courts came under the administration of European officers. So they were also brought, but they would not interfere much. Though the criminal courts were under the control of the Qazis. Qazis means the Muslim clerics or there, or like the gurus who are there, they will give the justice. They were functioning under the supervision of European officers. Only namesake they were there, but on the top supervision was done by the European officials. Only for Namke Vaste they were called namesake. So this was about the judicial system, how they brought in. Now coming to this police system, because maintenance of law and order is the duty of the police department, what you call in India Home Ministry, Home Department, maintenance of internal law and order. The police are in charge of maintaining the internal law and order situation within the wherever you take. So it is the duty of the police. Lord Cornwallis implemented the efficient police system in India for the first time. So brought a uniformity, a systematic way. He created the new post of Superintendent of Police. Today what called SP, Superintendent of Police for the whole district. He is in charge. Today also we have IPS officers who are in charge for maintenance of law and order. He divided a district into many stations. Today we have all stations are there and there, police stations are there, and put every police station under a kotwal. So he was named as how you call today as sub-inspector. So Superintendent of Police, sub-inspector, like that kotwal he was called. He was in charge of that police station. Similarly, he put every village under the care of chowkidar, chowka. So circle inspector, what you call chowk means one square for that particular area. So he is in charge. Like that for the whole district, the SP, Superintendent of Police. And they were divided into many police stations, and they were under the control of kotwal, that name of that position. Similarly, still it was divided, and in the village level it was called as a chowkidar. Kotwal was made accountable for thefts, so any robbery, crimes and other law violation at village level. So who was responsible? Kotwal is the supervisor. So anything happens, you are responsible. Means he has to take the responsibility. So in this way, Superintendent of Police, Kotwal, Chowkidar. In this way, the system was organized. So you can see here there are different uniforms. Bombay Police, you can see that constable, how is that dress. Udaipur, that is Rajasthan. Jaipur Civil Police, Delhi Police, United Province, that is Uttar Pradesh. These areas. These are different grades there depending on their peta. You can see head constable first grade, head constable second grade. So here based on these things also, color. So you can see that difference were there. In the year 1770, there was a severe drought, baragala, lack of water, that is famine, led to weak law and order situation, because when there is no food to eat, naturally people will go for robbery, theft, crime, lot of things will happen. So hence the entire police system was brought under the control of the British officers, because they saw people are going from here and there, no food to eat. When they don't have food to eat, they will rob from others, crime will take place, murders, so a lot of things will take place. British observed this and brought all things under their control. The system of appointing British magistrates started in 1781. Today what you call as district magistrates, DM, DC, Deputy Commissioner. So it started in the year 1781. So for the whole now, for the district in charge was the DM or district magistrate. Today what you call district collector, Deputy Commissioner. The police officers were under the power of the magistrates. So now the police comes under, today also the SP is for them is the head is the district magistrate, or the DC is the head. DC, under him comes the SP. The police officers were under the power of the magistrates. The police system underwent continuous changes depending on the situation. So they brought in a lot of changes. This was about the police system. So as I told you, SP, Kotwal, Chowkidar, this way, these are the different uniforms. So due to the drought situation 1770, there was total law and order problem. So the British brought all the system under their control, and the district magistrates were appointed. Under him there was the police system. In 1861, the police law was implemented. This law is the base of good law and order administration. Law and order administration, but Indians were not appointed for the post of officers. Now in the year 1861, so they brought in certain changes, reforms in the police system. But here Indians were not given much opportunity. All the top positions which were there were all controlled by the British officers. In the year 1902, the Police Commission law allowed the appointment of suitable educational qualification for the post of police officers. Now they thought, okay, we should involve Indians also, otherwise without their involvement we cannot manage the country. So they are required. So language may be there, area should know. So for that all these people are required. In spite of all these measures, though they were given opportunity, but the discrimination against the Indians did not end. As already we told you, 1857, first war of Indian independence, there were different causes. Example, the salary of the lowest British soldier and the Indian highest officer were the lowest officer salary was British soldier's salary was more than the highest Indian officer. This was the discrimination, all these things. Now coming to the military system. So a country to have proper safety and security, military is required. So the military was the base of administration during the British rule. So everything by force. The British appointed the Indians for the military and took the entire India under their control with the help of the military. They protected their supremacy by addressing the challenges posed by outside as well as inside forces with the help of the military. So you know that there were external forces also and internal forces also which were there, and British brought a proper military system. And many Indians were appointed. As I told you again, all the top posts were held by the British officers, and the lower posts were given to the Indians. Salary was low. They were made to do overtime work, and many other things were there. So you can see here, all these are Indians, but control of British, become British soldiers or policemen. The officers were again the British. the Indians could reach the rank of Subedar. Subedar in that military, their hierarchy, Subedar was the highest post available to Indians. Means there were many other posts. So among the lowest, highest was Subedar, which was given to Indians. Most of the Indians were coolie soldiers. Means they were, as I told you, the lowest rank among the soldiers. The British government accepted the recommendation of the Peel, the committee by named Peel, a person by name Peel. Under his, a committee was formed how to reform the system in the military. In the 1857, his recommendations were accepted. Based on these recommendations, the military system was redesigned in India. Hope you have understood whatever has been taught to you. Thank you. Sai Ram.